It is awesome, Dickie V. It's even more awesome when you've got a full complement of fans at one of the best venues in all of college basketball. Rupp Arena, home of Big Blue Nation, and the Kentucky Wildcats getting ready to take on the Colonials of Robert Morris. It is great to be with you, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Mike Morgan alongside the sharpshooter, Damian Fishback. And sometimes, Fish, you don't know how much you appreciate something until it's gone. We missed full crowds last year. They're back, and boy, are we excited they're here.
Yeah, they're excited here, too. Big Blue Nation, they got fireworks going off here. It's like when you get your first car when you go back home for Christmas. It's that type of feeling right now, Mike Morgan.
Not exactly the best feeling in the world a few nights ago when Kentucky lost to a very good Duke team, but a lot of positives came out of that game overall. John Calipari was certainly upbeat about it at practice yesterday. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, with so many of the transfers, there's a lot of unknowns, but let's take a look at what we know about the Kentucky Wildcats. First of all, how about the speed of Xavier Wheeler? Not just how fast he is, but look at his ability to change speed, explodes, and then watch him go by Green here. Boom, real quick, off of the window with a nice finger roll with the left hand. Now, how about the strength of Oscar Tshiebwe? Look at him move. Those are two of the stronger guys in John and Kills. But what does he do? We talked to him about this earlier. He gets an extra possession for his teammates, Ty Washington, to the rescue with a nice finish. And then last but not least, a man who scored over 2,000 points. That's right. You talk about spreading the floor. How about Kellen? We're glad we got him here at Big Blue Nation, Grady. The fans are excited, and they have a lot of reason to be because of the sensational transfers on this team.
Yeah, they really do. And when you look at last year, that's one where you burn the tape, the notes, and everything else. You got a fresh slate this year, and it is a roster that has a recruiting class highly touted. As we know, Fish, not all 5 stars are built the same. Not all top 5 recruiting classes are built the same. They're very high on this one and very high on some of those transfers that you mentioned. This is a team that certainly is poised to be better offensively and better overall. Kentucky in white, the Colonials of Robert Morris University in red. It'll be Oscar Tshiebwe, who played so well in the opener against Duke with the opening tip. And the Wildcats control it. We're here at Rupp Arena. 20,000 strong, Big Blue Nation, ready for the home opener. Ball comes inside, Tshiebwe. Pivots, kick out pass to Wheeler. Great ball movement to Grady on a 3.
Some of that shooting that we talked about that's going to allow Oscar Tshiebwe to do what he wants to in the paint, as well as allow Mr. Wheeler chances to get to the rim, Mike.
That was a classic case of what they have this year that they lacked last year. Outside shooting this year, awfully strong, and Kellen Grady's a big part of that. The Colonials coming in, nice driving layup that time by Michael Green, the 5'11" junior out of the Bronx, New York.
Yeah, the Rookie of the Year in 2020 of the Northeastern Conference. Didn't play well against UCF. I look for him to try to get back in the saddle here on the road at Rupp.
Grady on a drive and kick finds Brooks, who steps out of bounds. Turnover on Kentucky. More information on Robert Morris. As Fish mentioned, they were in the NEC. Now they're in the Horizon. They made that move last year. More difficult conference. They took their lumps last year, but that man, Andrew Toole, now in his 12th year, has had tremendous success, including 2 NCAA tournaments this decade.
Well, and you know, Kentucky fans remember that loss right after Nerlens Noel went down in the NIT. And Coach Toole told us that today. They paid him back for that loss in 2014.
On the strip, Wheeler, deflected pass into the hands of Ty Washington, the most highly decorated freshman on this roster. Tshiebwe, another offensive rebound, takes it strong, in the trees, banks it home. He can be a one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah, big boy basketball, 6'9", 255 pounds. Not sure if there's an ounce of fat on that young man.
The Duke Blue Devils are one of the most physical and biggest teams in America. They could not stop him on the glass to the tune of 20 rebounds. Another carom there for the big man. Brooks on a run out, takes it strong, and he'll go to the line for a pair.
you know, part of the way that you offensive rebound is anticipation. Kevin Love was tremendous. Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace. And you see his movement. I like the patience on the interior and him using his muscle and size to just overpower Spear from Robert Morris.
Now Keon Brooks, the third-year junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Going to be a lot more expected out of Keon this year.
Yeah, and I'm anxious to see how his game continues to mature. You know, you look at guys like Keon Brooks, he's like every other collegiate player. He wants to get to the NBA and go to the next level. For him, though, I think he has to focus on what is his best game. And for me, I think it's just scoring the basketball. He didn't have to be a three-point shooter. He didn't have to put it on the floor with everybody else. Just show that you can score, rebound, and be a good defender.
Kentucky out to an early 4-point lead here at Rupp Arena. Little weave action up top. Spear. Hard dribble, kick out pass. Rise and fire on a deep two. Off the mark that time by Rasheem Dunn. Wheeler, drive and kick. Washington on a floater, nothing but the bottom of the net. Kentucky up by 6.
Pretty basketball. You know, all that's initiated by Xavier Wheeler establishing the tempo. I would beg to think that Coach Cal and Kentucky wished that they could have kept that tempo up. You saw the guys from Duke. You know, they had 4 guys cramping in that game. That's going to be their style of play.
Turnover on Robert Morris. Kentucky basketball.
Mike, this is what I'm talking about. We talk about defensive pressure. This is offensive pressure. He draws 4 guys. Now Ty Washington has the defense on their heels, and there's simply nothing that Dunn can do from Robert Morris. He continues to put the defense at a disadvantage.
Wheeler, the transfer out of the University of Georgia, led the SEC in assists last season. The goal this year is to lead the nation in assists. Tshiebwe down low. Had it stripped out of bounds. Kentucky will retain possession with 15 on the shot clock.
Well, Oscar Tshiebwe really getting just about anything he wants at 6'9". Going against Khalil Spear, he's 6'7". And so Robert Morris really doesn't have the size or strength to match up with him on the interior.
Off the inbounds, Wheeler too strong. Tshiebwe, speaking of strong, a follow on the rebound, gets another rebound. Tshiebwe, he is just a man among boys out there right now. Oscar Tshiebwe going to be one of the top rebounders in America.
He's in his flex zone right now, isn't he, Mike Morgan?
Absolutely. Former transfer from West Virginia. John Calipari told us he wanted him coming out of high school, and Tshiebwe was considering Kentucky, wound up flipping to West Virginia at the last second. Grady with the hoop and the harm in transition. And the former Davidson Wildcat will have a chance at 3 the hard way.
Wow. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about, the speed. Everybody that plays Kentucky is going to have to adjust to the speed and the strength that we talked about at the outset of Tshiebwe and Xavier Wheeler. I love his patience there. He doesn't shuffle his feet. He doesn't panic. He realizes that I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and I'm simply putting this orange peel in the rim.
Kellen Grady, a 2,000-point scorer at Davidson. You watched him against Duke when he got catch and fire situations. He was automatic. Just a pretty stroke. He never averaged fewer than 17 points a game a season at Davidson.
Yeah, one of the many transfers. I like this 2-2-1 zone. Kentucky worked on this in practice. Central Florida actually used this and really kept Robert Morris out of rhythm in that game in Orlando.
Wildcats enjoying a 10-0 run. Green, step back. That's going to be a deep 2. It'll be off the mark. And on his back with the rebound is Collins. He lost it, and there to pick up the loose change is Cheeks.
Well, not only Cheeks, but the entire Robert Morris team did a sensational job of offensive rebounding against Central Florida. So they will not back down, Mike.
Kentucky led by that man, Oscar Tshiebwe. Remember the name. He is a force inside.
Damian Fishback and Mike Morgan. Oscar Tshiebwe has been the show and the star. We talked about his size at 6'9", 255 pounds. We talked to him earlier. I said, why do you play so hard, young fella? He said, for my family. He said, I just want to enhance their lifestyle. I'm the one that has the opportunity, and you see that in his body language, in his demeanor, how he plays. He is relentless in going after every single rebound. He says he wants to average 20 rebounds a game, Mike, and he looks like he might be well on his way.
It certainly appears that way, and you mentioned it. We had such a great talk with that young man yesterday at practice, and again, yeah, he is playing for more than just personal honors. He's playing for his family, and he wants to be able to help out his family from the Congo. And he went to West Virginia, as I mentioned, and a lot of people thought he was coming here, and he thought he was coming here. He's always liked Kentucky basketball.
Right.
Changed his mind kind of last second, and then, as he told us, he was having a little bit of anxiety, was a little bit down, was not overly happy. Decided, I want to go back where I originally fell in love with Coach Cal and with Kentucky, and here he is.
You think about the young man that moved to the United States, Mike, when he was 16, and he hadn't seen his family until this past summer. And so just think about the inability to spend time, to hug your family, to spend that time with him. It shows the discipline and dedication that this young man has had.
And he knows his role on this team. They don't need to design any plays for Oscar Tshiebwe. Just rebound, stick back, play good defense.
Yeah, don't look at the name. You'll mess it up every time I do. Can't look at the spelling, brother.
I'd rather call him Oscar. Oscar Tshiebwe already paying off dividends. Foul on Damian Collins. First time we've called his name, but it won't be the last. And that's a young man who only played 2 minutes in the loss against Duke. Highly touted player coming out of high school, out of Atlanta, Texas. Needs to put on some more weight. He's put on 15 pounds, but Coach Cal telling us this morning we need him on the floor, if for nothing else, to block some shots.
That's right. And I can't wait to see how this young man continues to grow throughout the season. He'll have to learn in the SEC, but I agree with what Coach Cal did. I didn't think, Theo John and Kills and Bancaro were the guys to put him up against in that first game. He didn't look ready for the time that he had out there.
Shot clock violation, and it'll turn it over to Kentucky, already up by 10. And now the leading scorer and really most consistent player from last year's squad, Davion Mintz, number 10 in white, enters the game for Kentucky. With Mintz and Wheeler on the floor, a whole lot of versatility.
Yeah, Mintz's ability to play backup point guard if need be. Really the most consistent player, as you said. And I think now I'm anxious to see how Wheeler performs with two shooters on that wing, especially with Mintz and Grady.
Wheeler between the legs, up and under, kick out. Great ball movement to Grady on a three. A rare miss for that young man. Tapped around, and this time Robert Morris is able to get the rebound.
Mike, Robert Morris is a team that is going to play hard. Coach Toole has his guys competing on every single play, but with 9 transfers, they're still learning one another just like Kentucky is.
Strong take by Dunn, probing the baseline. Foul goes against Kentucky on Xavier Wheeler, number 1. So to the line for the Colonials. Rasheem Dunn, one of the many transfers, 8 transfers on this Colonial squad. He transferred from St. John's, had 12 points, 5 rebounds in that loss, and the opener to UCF. There's the opening free throw as we look at Saturday's SEC college football lineup right here on the friendly confines of the SEC network. New Mexico State taking on Alabama, Gamecocks and Mizzou at 4 o'clock, and then Arkansas and LSU, the nightcap, SEC Saturday night.
I need a number or something from you, Mike.
What you need?
Who do we need to talk to extend this college football playoff?
I can tell you this.
Is it going to work itself out again?
I believe in Greg Sankey.
No doubt about it.
If he wants it, it's going to happen. and if it is going to happen, he wants 12, so I think it's going to be 12. And sooner rather than later, I'm with you on that. Wheeler spots and fires up a 3, too strong, and a nice rebound coming in by Khalil Spear. Transfer out of Bucknell. Nearing the 14-minute mark. It's been all Kentucky thus far. 2 teams that met not that long ago in the NIT. That game was actually at Robert Morris because Rupp Arena was not available for that opening NIT game.
Right.
Wide open three. Pops out, tapped up by Ware. A rare offensive rebound for the Colonials. Another three misses, and almost an offensive rebound. Bodies bump, and the foul will go against the Colonials as Bryce Hopkins into the game. Drew the contact. Foul goes on Flavors, his first.
Well, this is the contact you see here, and Bryce Hopkins is someone that I know the staff is looking for an impeccable upside. He's a young man who has tremendous size, you know, at 225 pounds, 6'5". He actually reminds you of a similar size as Trevor Keels, who plays so well at Duke. I think he'll continue to improve substantially as the season goes on.
And there you see some of the offense by the 6'6" freshman out of Oak Park, Illinois, Bryce Hopkins. He was really the surprise of the summer. He was the least heralded of the three recruits coming in, but blew the coaching staff away with his performance in the offseason. See a nice gliding layup by Michael Green. And then a steal. Here comes Green on a run out. Rejected by Brooks, but that'll be a goaltend.
Well, I'm quiet right now, Mike, because I need to see that again. Now, Owen Short called it, and he had a better view and angle than I did. Let's take a look. It's tough to see, but in pickup basketball, you're not getting that as a goaltend.
Not at all. Kentucky with the basketball up by 6. Ty Washington back on the floor for the Wildcats. This is a Kentucky team that returns 42% of its scoring from a year ago. And they return over 13,000 Division I minutes from a year ago. According to the sports information here at Kentucky, they do a terrific job. That's the most in program history. So this is not your typical youthful Coach Cal squad. Little give and go action. Kicks off the back iron out of bounds to Kentucky.
Mike, what you really see in this basketball game is Robert Morris starting to get a lot more comfortable. The tempo has changed. It's not as expeditious as it was when we first started this basketball game. You talked about the transfers on this basketball team. This is a veteran team from Robert Morris as well. They're not going to be intimidated, and I don't think that they're far off from where they thought they would be early in this basketball game.
Yeah, you got to be happy. Again, they're playing with house money in this game, and they're only down 6 after a rough start to this ball game. Tough shot that time by Grady.
Tough shot, forced shot. Didn't change size of the floor. You can't do that at this level.
Stop and pop off the mark. Flying in for the rebound is Mintz. On the push, Mintz in the lane and draws the foul with 11:43 to go and a timeout on the floor. Kentucky 16, Robert Morris 10 from Lexington. Well, if you're a young man or woman in Kentucky, you want to earn $10,000. Just knock down a half-court shot. You get a couple of attempts. You miss the first one. He's got it lined up. Put a little more juice on this one. Behind the line, half court. Got it. Nothing but the bottom of the net. 10 grand. Oh, yeah.
You can tell how he backed up a little bit, Mike.
Oh,
look at him.
You know the thing about that is that you have to have like an insurance policy to cover those type of contests. You need a little extra in Kentucky because folks around here, they grow up, they know how to shoot the basketball now. What do we know about Robert Morris? Moon Township, Pennsylvania. That's near Pitts. I think it's about a mile away from the Pitt Airport. 8 NCAA tournament appearances. They also qualified in 2020. Of course, COVID derailed that one. And some famous alums, including Kevin Colbert of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Horizon League, as I mentioned earlier, they were for many years a power, kind of the team to beat in the NEC. And now in the Horizon, where you've got perennial favorites like Cleveland State and Wright State to contend with. And again, Coach Andrew Toole was well aware of the fact that it was going to take a little bit of an adjustment once you go up in that level.
Yeah, Coach Dennis Gates is doing a phenomenal job at Cleveland State, coming from Florida State, where Coach Leonard Hamilton's had so much success. But I look for them with Torrey Patton returning as first team Horizon to compete again. And you see what Coach Toole has done. You talked about the NCAA tournament appearances, so humble, so fiery. Even in the shoot around this morning, he got the guys started, was energetic. It's going to take some time, but I expect Robert Morris to make a push later on in this season.
A poli-sci major at the University of Penn, very cerebral coach. And again, he can always tell his kids, I've got a win against Kentucky under my belt. Let's try to get another one. How about this? The campus I mentioned, about a mile away from the Pitt Airport. John Calipari grew up not too far from the Robert Morris campus. His mother worked at the cafeteria at Robert Morris.
Yeah, talked about he used to get food from out of there. I mean, so it's got a special place in his heart. But right now he doesn't want a special place in his heart for them to come into Rupp Arena and get a victory.
Yeah, he's hungry for a win right now. Tough loss to Duke at Madison Square Garden. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Kentucky. That'll go against Tshiebwe, his first foul. Must have got him on the screen. Third Kentucky foul with 11:06 to go in the first half.
So now if you're Oscar Tshiebwe, you have to change your style of play. You just have to be more cognizant. Obviously, that run that was made in the first half, a lot of that was when Oscar Tshiebwe went out of the game versus Duke.
Tough shot off the glass. Tshiebwe, top floor for the rebound. Finds Washington racing into front court. Open three for Mintz. Tshiebwe again with another rebound. That's 8 already in the first half.
You know, Mike, you talked about those minutes, but they don't have that many minutes of playing together. As you see that nice finish by Ty Washington. And so even though they have a veteran team, they don't have a veteran team in regards to guys that have played together for 2, 3, 4 years. And that's the patience that I think Kentucky fans are going to have to display this season.
One thing you notice about Cal this year compared to our conversations with him a year ago, he just seems much more at ease about this roster. Last year was a challenge, to say the least. Grady on a run out on the beautiful feed by Davion Mintz.
Well, one thing that we know about the Wildcats is that turnovers continue to equal points. When they are out open in the break, they are very challenging to stop. For Robert Morris here, you don't want this game to get out of hand.
Kunzo on a three, his first basket. Young man, a sophomore out of Italy, 6'8".
Yeah, the Toledo transfer per 40 minutes actually averaged close to 16 points and 9 rebounds per game, known as a shooter.
Washington whips it into the corner. And there's the difference this year. Keon Brooks probably wouldn't have taken that shot or made that shot. More confidence this year.
Yeah, you can see how he's continued to improve his basketball game, something that I think the staff at Kentucky gets underrated in regards to their ability to develop in the offseason. He's a much better player than he was last year.
Not much there that time for the Colonials. Mintz full throttle. Mintz all the way. Had it knocked away. There's Tshiebwe. Johnny on the spot. Kick out pass. Open three. Left short that time by Grady.
How unselfish is Oscar Tshiebwe, though, to give that up. Now, frankly, I think he should have taken it back up at 6'9", 255 pounds in this basketball game. But you love to see bigs that are unselfish.
I have a feeling Coach Cal agrees with you on that assessment, as he was kind of shaking his head. Offensive rebound for Robert Morris. Knifing in is Matt Myers. Dunn angles it inside. Tshiebwe going for the steal. Almost forced a turnover. Shot clock at 4. There's a steal by Washington. Washington on the finish.
Nice. Love that energy, that effort. Don't think that these fans in here in Rupp Arena aren't making a difference to this basketball team. You know, we talked about Ty Washington One of the things that I love about his game, nice Hezo young fella with the finger roll off of the window. And then we talked about the shooting, nothing but string music by Mr. Brooks.
Health issues well documented now. He is awesome and one of the best human beings you'll ever come around. Damian, my first experience with Dickie V was when he was speaking to me as a college student, just trying to give life lessons. He spoke to the entire group, and then who would have thought 5 years ago my dream of working with him at a tournament in Orlando, got a chance to work with Dickie V for 3 games. And I would just tell people that only know Dickie V, the broadcaster and the former coach, one of the best human beings and one of the most thoughtful human beings you'll ever come across.
Absolutely, and he's in our thoughts and prayers and will continue to be. Coach, you know, when you look at Dick Vitale, he's a guy that I think is the reason why a lot of people got in this business.
Yep.
You know, him saying, "It's awesome, baby." So many people either give or take energy. He's always giving energy, and I think there's a lot of people out there praying for him, and we can't wait to see him back on the mic.
And nobody loves the game of basketball more than one Dickie V. I know he's had plenty of great broadcasting memories in this building, calling Kentucky games over the years. Kentucky back at the friendly confines of Rupp Arena. And this year, Kentucky can host 20,500 fans in blue. This beautiful arena where they have a 92% winning percentage under Coach Calipari. Apparently we have a substitution issue for Robert Morris that had to be cleared up. So Cheeks is going to have to go to the bench, and Flavors will come in. So glad we got that cleared away. Owen Short making sure that everything is on the up and up. And we're back to playing some basketball. Kentucky heating up some pressure.
Yeah, I like to see this disruption. We talked about the type of press that Central Florida ran, but Kentucky's a little bit different, playing man-to-man, showing a lot more pressure. I think that's something that as this season goes on, the Wildcats will be able to continue to do.
Flavors, nice floating action off the backboard and in.
Flavors Jr., 6'3", 190 pounds, actually transferred in April from Oklahoma State. He's a shooter and is going to help this team with 207 threes already in his career.
Yeah, I certainly expect to have him as instant offense off the bench. Bump foul, Wheeler causing the contact, and the foul on Akunzo. Xavier Wheeler, that was something, we had a long talk with Bruiser Flint, assistant coach, yesterday after practice, and he said one of the things he wants to see Xavier Wheeler do, he said, "You're so quick and strong, you should be drawing more fouls, you should be at the free throw line more."
And he also he said, "Little fella, you can't just keep going inside like that.
Yeah.
You're going to keep getting it beat up," talking about the block shots. But I think he's great for Xavier Wheeler because he was a tremendous player in his own right. As you see a nice pass and finish that time by Brooks.
Yeah, Wheeler had kind of a mixed bag. It was a double-double, a great first half, but then down the stretch had 3 shots blocked and a couple of turnovers, and something that Coach Cal and that man Bruiser Flint, who was an undersized guard and a heck of a player back in his day, excuse me.
Yeah, you think about him at St. Joseph and the job that he did. He brings that Philly toughness and grit to this basketball team. And that's one thing that I do. That's a characteristic that I do like about Kentucky. I thought they fought and played extremely tough against a Duke team who looks really good.
No question. Under 7 minutes to play. Colonials on the drive and kick by Cheeks. Sets up an open 3 straight away and knocked out. Instant offense by Farron Flavors, the pride of Federal Way, Washington. Brooks on a response too strong. Offensive rebound fought for, picked up and then turned over by Collins. Wheeling and dealing, and a pretty baseline J that time by Spear. Robert Morris hanging around.
Love this fight, and this is a teaching moment for Coach Cal right now, realizing that every single possession, every play is a chance, but give credit to Robert Morris, especially the job of Farron Flavors Jr. We talked about him. This is a guy who scored 905 points already. He scored double figures 48 times at the D1 level, and that's what we mentioned earlier. This is a team that will not be intimidated, and they're going to fight Kentucky until the end.
8-point game, 6:19 to go. To give you an idea of life for a lot of these mid-majors, these games mean so much to them because, quite frankly, financially, they depend on it for their existence. 10 of their first 13 games are on the road. 10 of the first 13. I mean, they just went to Orlando Central Florida. They come here to Lexington. Then they're at Ohio, at Davidson, at Green Bay, at Milwaukee, at Bowling Green, St. Francis, Oakland, Detroit Mercy. These are all road games in the first 13.
Needless to say, they'll know where they're at. Be glad to be back home.
Racking up those frequent flyer miles and hotel points. Wheeler. Back out, Washington. To Wheeler on the alley-oop. Another dime by Wheeler.
Did you notice there he was almost going to make a chest pass, but at the last second he actually threw the alley-oop? That's how quick Xavier Wheeler's mind is working.
Runner by Green, left it short. Collins off his pogo stick for the rebound. They want to see quality minutes tonight out of the talented freshman. Damian Collins only played 2 minutes in the game against Duke. There's the hometown hero with his first shot, Dante Allen. Collins another rebound. Collins with the stick back, using that 40-plus inch vertical leap.
The young fella is learning on the job. He realizes that he's not strong enough, but he is bouncy. He's athletic. He's long. Those are the skills and the advantages that he has to use.
And there's the block, and it's off of the leg of Winston. It'll be Kentucky basketball.
The young fella's excited, isn't he, Mike Morgan?
I mean, this is a guy, I mean, the sky is the limit. Now, there's a ways to go. He played at a small school, and because of COVID, he didn't get to play high-level AAU basketball. So there's a lot of learning still going on. But in terms of just pure ability and upside, it's off the charts.
Well, and as a five-star, obviously the potential is there. It's going to take time. It won't happen overnight. But his ability to block shots is something that Coach Cal talked about, and we've seen that early today.
Baseline jumper is wet. 8 points already for Ty Washington, the first recruit ever out of the state of Arizona for the Big Blue Nation.
And we think the only recruit out of Arizona.
The first and only. They've gotten players from 36 out of the 50 states and 10 foreign countries all time, but never Arizona until Ty Washington. Jumper from the baseline, around and down for Matt Myers. Washington, no. Tshiebwe, kick to Wheeler. Got it.
Beautiful. How about the fact that Tshiebwe was just as excited about that pass and score for Xavier Wheeler as he was when he put it back in himself?
Green has it knocked away. Back out to Flavors. Going in on Collins. Shot is altered by Tshiebwe on the help. Here's Collins going to work. Allen on a spot up three. The pride of Pendleton County, and that's what he can do. Hit open jump shots.
Yeah, 13 of them, right, when he played Mississippi State. Able to get that overtime victory. A lot of weapons on this Kentucky Wildcat team.
3:31 to go. Kentucky up by 18.
Yeah, Xavier, I've got 21 flavors. Wheeler upstairs to the top four for Damian Collins. I love his first name. Go get it, big fella. Look at the heart.
Welcome in, Dorian Oka with you. I got Patrick Young coming up at the half. I got Doring and Chiswick also to talk football. #1 women's team in America. South Carolina's out in South Dakota. We will update what's going on there. #1 Georgia football team on the road Saturday. What to look for in their battle with Tennessee. And, of course, we'll break down Kentucky. Back to Mike and Fish in their matching suits, guys.
Dari, thank you so much. Sounds like you got a lot to get to at the half. We're not too far away from that. We're not too far away from the start of conference play. That'll be here before you know it. And of course, Kentucky back at the top in the preseason poll as you look at the top 12 teams. I'll tell you what, Fish, you and I have been around this league for a while. 1 through 8 in this league, I don't know if it gets much deeper. You started Kentucky, Bama, Arkansas.
Sure.
And then at the bottom of that 8, LSU, Florida, and Mississippi State. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I want you to keep your eyes on Mississippi State. I was able to go see them in practice. Derek Fountains put on about 20 points. You think about those transfer, Rocket Watts from Michigan State, Garrison Brooks, Iverson Molinar, Cameron Matthews has continued to pick up his game. I think healthy, once they get everyone healthy, they're going to be one of the more dangerous teams in the SEC.
I think Molinar is one of the most exciting players in all of college basketball if you haven't seen him yet. And I'll do a little bragging on this league. The last 3 NCAA tournaments, 21 bigs. That's 7 a year. I don't think SEC basketball has ever been more healthy top to bottom than it is right now.
When you talk about over half the league, coach has been to the Final Four. You got Final Fours, championships, pros, but right now you've got a hungry and hostile Robert Morris team battling on the road.
Great defense by Kentucky. Mintz on the push, finds Tshiebwe. Easy basket for the big man, and Kentucky starting to pile it on.
That's what's underrated on this team. You've got multiple guys now who can really handle the basketball. Davion Mintz, we talked about him earlier in this basketball game. He can start to break. Xavier Wheeler can start to break. Ty Washington. That's an advantage when you have that on your team.
Green on a blow by, but then deflected out of bounds. Quick hands by Kentucky.
Checking in for Kentucky is Grady.
Grady checks back into the game. 6'5" grad transfer from Davidson. Should mention, we do not expect to see Jacob Toppin or C.J. Frederick tonight. Toppin out with his shoulder and Frederick out with a hamstring, but that just provides more depth and weaponry for this Kentucky squad. Shot clock down to 3. Great defense that time by Keon Brooks.
Solid. And that's something that I think Keon Brooks brings to the table as well, his ability to really guard multiple positions. There's so much switching in the game of college basketball. It's really beginning to emulate the NBA game a lot. But Keon Brooks can really guard 1 through 4 and sometimes 1 through 5.
Washington from the corner off the mark. Rebound reeled in that time by Spear. Under 2 minutes to play, first half. Kentucky enjoying a 17-point lead. Home opener for Big Blue. Inside on Tshiebwe. And a nice take that time by Khalil Spears.
Yeah, pretty basketball. The shot fake and then the pass by Michael Green III.
Washington, the most decorated recruit in this Kentucky class, and that's one of the things he does so well. Great body control. He's wired to score in a number of ways.
Yeah, change of speeds and direction. Good size at 6'3". I thought at times he was a deer in headlights in the game versus Duke, but he's another guy that just will continue to get better. That's a tough scene, being a freshman.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't have the Malik Monk show that he had, what was it, against North Carolina,
right,
or the De'Aaron Fox.
Tyrese Maxey put on a clinic a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And, that's what Coach Cal was hoping for in that game, but he sensed what you and I sensed watching the game, just looked a little skittish. That's why Xavier Wheeler played 38 minutes, which is a little more than they want to see. Next Friday night, we'll have a college basketball doubleheader to tip off your weekend at 7 o'clock. This Kentucky Wildcat squad will play host to Ohio U at Rupp Arena. And then it's the Battle of the Peach State. Georgia Tech takes on Georgia at Stedman. Both games right here on the SEC Network. Georgia with a ton of turnover for Coach Crean. It'll be interesting to see how they're able to gel in a short amount of time. A ton of transfers, really good transfers this year coming into the Southeastern Conference. We're used to seeing top recruiting classes and leading the way in top 100 recruits compiled by our own Paul Biancardi, one of the best in the business in that regard. But the transfer market has become very attractive to this league as well. I had Alabama the other night. Look out for Noah Gurley. He is a great complementary piece to that backcourt they already have there. Likes is like a 5'7" dynamo. out of the University of Miami. Garrison Brooks, you were talking about Mississippi State earlier, Fish. He's going to be a huge addition. That's some talented players on the transfer market.
Well, the Southeastern Conference, whatever the rules are, they're going to take advantage. And so, you know, the transfer rule opened up this year, and I don't know if any league did better than the SEC.
Jump ball or foul? Yep, jump ball it is, and the arrow goes to the Colonials. It's really where we are now in college basketball. It's no longer just evaluating the freshman class. You've got to really study up on who's coming in. And obviously they're ahead physically and skill-wise in your typical 18, 19-year-old. But then how do they gel with the guys already on the team?
Well, and the question will be not only how do they gel, but how quickly do they gel? We saw Arizona State go down last night on a buzzer beater.
Right.
And these games are so valuable early in the season. And so, listen, Kentucky Duke, they could handle that loss. But for those games at home right now, this would be a devastating loss to Kentucky and to the SEC.
The SEC did a good job holding court. On opening night and opening week, Kentucky with the only loss from the Southeastern Conference. Shot clock at 10. Flavors in the trees, knocked around and out of bounds to Robert Morris. I'm not sure why Grady didn't just pick that up. 3 on the shot clock.
Supposed to lay out for that one, huh? Would you have laid out for
I
that?
would have laid out, but I had to do those things, Fish, if I was going to see any playing time. Williams, the inbounder. Lob pass. Look at Collins causing a disruption, and Grady on the run out.
Hey, that's what happens when you lay out. He talked about the energy of Jacob Thompson. You know, when you have guys play like this down the stretch, it's infectious throughout the entire team.
Deep 3 by Green, and that's how the half will end. He's got 12 points to lead the Colonials. Kentucky led by Washington and Grady, each with 10 points for Big Blue. 16-point lead at the half from Rupp Arena. And we will send it to studio. A lot of basketball and football to catch up with. Dari Noka is going to take you the rest of the way. Got to be happy with what you saw if you're a Kentucky fan on offense in that first half. 46 points for the Wildcats. A freshman and a grad transfer, Ty Washington, Kellen Grady, leading the way each with 10. He's Damian Fishback. He knows a thing or two about scoring. I'm Mike Morgan. Damian, last year, this Kentucky team at times really did struggle to score. This year, you get the feeling they're much more equipped to put it on opposing defenses.
Yeah, we saw a plethora of scores in this first half from the Kentucky Wildcats. I think Big Blue Nation just wants this all the time, Mike Morgan. Let's take a look and see who contributed in that first half. You start with the offensive rebound of Oscar Tshiebwe. He wants to average 20 rebounds a game, and I think he's well on his way to doing it. Just overpowers and over-muscles Spear. Here he is again to the offensive glass. You look at how they manufacture their points. And if you're Robert Morris, you say we've got to keep him off the glass. There goes that speed we talked about of Xavier Wheeler. But how about Ty Washington? After coming off a game of 3 of 14 versus Duke, he has been an assassin and sensational both offensively and defensively, under control and playing to the likes that we expected. And then last but not least, Xavier Wheeler showing us not only the jump shot, but how about the pass upstairs to Damian Collins?
Yeah, the point guard play is better, the shooting is better, the offensive rebounding is better than what we saw much of last year. You see Kentucky dominating the offensive glass, points in the paint. And again, 9 different Wildcats got in the scoring column in the first half. Wildcats get it off in the second half, and it'll be out of bounds to Kentucky.
These first 5 minutes, we talk about that all the time, Mike. First 5 minutes of the second half, so crucial for Kentucky. You want to try to put Robert Morris away. For Robert Morris, you want to do the same thing that you did against Central Florida. Claw your way back into this basketball game. Got it to single digits in the second half.
Wheeler. That is his niftiness. He did that quite a bit at Georgia the last couple of years and brings that to the table this year for Big Blue. And then a steal. And an alley-oop. Grady to Brooks. Kentucky dialing up some full court pressure. Grady and Brooks combining in the backcourt. Colonials in red, Kentucky in white. And a 3-ball knocked down that time. That is by Justin Winston, the transfer from St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, he has 3 seasons remaining of eligibility, so plenty of time for him to continue to improve as that man, Oscar Tshiebwe, just a man amongst boys out there.
Yeah, it really is. And Wheeler has such good vision. That's the 5th dime he's dropped off already in this game. Again, led the SEC last year with nearly 7.5 assists per game. The other number on Wheeler that they want to see this year. What a block by Tshiebwe. Return to sender. Got to be careful when you take it up on the 6'9" junior, Oscar Tshiebwe.
What's that commercial where he's got that dollar bill on the fishing line? He says, you got to be quicker than that. That's what Oscar Tshiebwe says right here. That little fumble of the basketball is all Oscar Tshiebwe needed to get up there and make a good contest.
And then how about Tshiebwe on a steal, leading the break to Brooks. Back to Tshiebwe. Hammered, and he'll go to the line for 2.
You know, we got a guy in the studio, Patrick Young, obviously played on a tremendous team at Florida. And the more I look at Oscar Tshiebwe, not just the build, you know, but he actually reminds me of Patrick Young a little bit. The way he runs the floor, how hard he plays, his effort, his motor. You think Patrick Young could still go against him right now? He looked good in the, you know, in the suit. He looked good in the studio.
He could still get you. He can still get you some boards and buckets. I don't doubt that. Now, Tshiebwe's conditioning at this point might be a little
Mike
better.
Says you out of shape, Patrick.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's shape and then there's basketball shape. You know, you go in the studio all those nights like Patrick's doing.
No doubt.
You don't get the same workout.
Yeah, yeah. I got you. I love how Kentucky has already made adjustments to force this game into the tempo that they want.
Kentucky playing man-to-man as they will most of 40 minutes every game this year. And that time left alone on another 3. Justin Winston heating up. Winston out of West Orange, New Jersey.
Got a nice touch at 6'8", 220 pounds. Kentucky's going to have to adjust. Nice pass.
Great look. And a great finish that time by Kellen Grady. That shot is so pure, Fish.
I got to make sure I preface this. The word is like. That was Steph Curry-like with the shot fake, stayed in one place, didn't move a lot. We call that phone booth shooting.
We got here 2 hours before tip-off tonight, and the first guy out there shooting buckets was that man, Kellen Grady. It doesn't happen by accident. The form is there, the repetition, the work ethic is there.
The habit always precedes the harvest.
Over 2,000 career points. Wheeler navigating, leaves it off down low for Brooks, and that's just a little bully ball right there by Keon Brooks. 10 points now for Brooks, 3 Kentucky players in double figures. Make it 4, as Grady has 13 as well, and Tshiebwe with 10. Green from the corner. A rare offensive rebound for the Colonials.
That's pretty basketball. The shot didn't go down, but I thought it was excellent ball movement, patience displayed by Robert Morris. And you also see something that Kentucky is going to have to work on. Xavier Wheeler, we talked about his size being undersized. him being able to root out offensive players to get defensive rebounds to finish the defensive play will be a challenge for the Wildcats.
10 on the shot clock. Working on Washington. Can't separate. Fadeaway jumper over the outstretched arm of Tshiebwe. Extra possession for the Colonials, and they make them pay. And again, it's that man, Justin Winston.
All coming from the offensive rebound. Let's remember, Robert Morris had 14 offensive rebounds in the first half versus Central Florida.
They're not the biggest team. That's a lot of want to.
No doubt.
Brooks backing in, turn and fire. Missed it, tapped around. Colonials have it.
But that's the game Keon Brooks has to master. He has to continue to perfect that mid-range game, how to use his body.
Around the ball screen, it's done. Floater in the trees, missed everything. Tshiebwe with another rebound. A double-double already for Tshiebwe. Wheeler putting on a show. Wheeler, everything but the bucket. Tshiebwe missed it. Wheeler gets it back. Oh, nice pass. The miss by Brooks. I think Brooks was shocked he even got that pass through.
And that's what we talk about with these guys still learning to play with one another, right? A couple of juniors, but they haven't played together.
Ball knocked free. Washington ahead to Grady. Wheeler down low. Brooks back out. Wheeler.
Love the unselfishness being displayed by this basketball team. I thought down the stretch versus Duke, not because they were selfish, but they all wanted it so bad they kind of tried to go independent.
Wheeler to Tshiebwe, who thought he was fouled, and he does get the whistle on the second one. And that'll bring us to a timeout as we step aside. Kentucky up by 17.
You know, Mike, that wasn't pretty, but this was pretty. How about this finger roll with the left hand off of the glass, and then look at Keon Brooks. Go get it, big fella. Go get it.
Every Saturday, Marty and McGee and SEC Nation bring you extensive SEC game previews that you won't find anywhere else. This week, they'll be in Knoxville. Got a big one. Georgia and Tennessee. That'll be at 9 a.m. Eastern time right here on the SEC Network. Mike Morgan, Damian Fishback. Great to be with you. Xavier Wheeler put together another fine performance today. 5 points, 6 assists, and perhaps even just as important, 0 turnovers. They list Xavier Wheeler at 5'9". That might be a little bit generous. And we've had some great small guards in this league over time. Of course, Tyler Ulis was outstanding, all SEC multiple years during his time frame before leaving for the NBA. Devin Downey was a Kentucky killer. Stephon Moody of Ole Miss, J.J. Frazier. Boy, how much fun was he to watch with the Georgia Bulldogs. But Downey, he led a Gamecock team into this building the last time South Carolina ever won a game here, and then beat #1 ranked Kentucky back in Columbia. How about all time under 6 feet? You got to go Muggsy at 5'3", Spud Webb, slam dunk champion, Calvin Murphy, Michael Adams, Avery Johnson, former Alabama head coach, and Damon Stoudemire, another exciting 5'10" dynamo.
And obviously, if you're wondering which Isaiah Thomas that is, we're talking about the Boston Celtics, not the 6 feet great Detroit Piston Isaiah Thomas. And we wanted to keep all those guys under 6 feet, but a lot of small guards in this league. You think about Chandler over at Tennessee that's playing well. Wendell Green over at Auburn started out having a very good year. A lot of undersized true point guards coming back in the game.
And we've got a couple of more this season that'll be playing in the Southeastern Conference. He's not quite under 6 feet, but the young man at Tennessee is going to be one heck of a player to watch. Talking about Kennedy Chandler, he's right about 6 feet, but he's an explosive player. Plays a lot bigger than his size. Tshiebwe
Nice job of Robert Morris actually icing the screen, just trying to keep the basketball on one side instead of allowing Kentucky to get to the middle of the floor. They're keeping the ball on the side of the floor.
Inside, Tshiebwe with another block. Gosh, he's an enforcer down low. Already another double-double for him, his 14th career double-double. Wheeler in traffic.
This is an opportunity actually for Robert Morris. They have a chance now to chip away at this lead. I think they've had success actually going to the rim, but they've shied away now that Damian Collins has been in there.
And there's a block by Collins. Here comes Wheeler. Into the hands of Mintz. Collins down low. Has it knocked away.
He'll learn. He'll have to get stronger. I think they said they were trying to get him to eat 5,000 calories a day. How would you like that diet, Mike?
I would sign up for that tomorrow, but I wouldn't like the end result, I can tell you that. Trying to keep it under 2. 5,000 a day. He has put on 15 pounds, but I mean, the first thing you notice, those legs, that base on Collins, number 4 in white for Kentucky. And he's just got a lean base. Explosive at that size. He'll only get stronger. The numbers on Collins in high school are just staggering. 36 points a game, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists.
And if you're wondering why Rupp Arena is getting so excited right now, the second half, if you get 2 missed free throws from the opponent, they have a free chicken sandwich.
I'm all about that. I mean, we can't have a rooting interest, but I'm just saying it wouldn't hurt my feelings if he missed one here. No chicken sandwich. Denied.
It's about as loud as they've gotten in the second half.
Rasheem Dunn says no chicken for you. Collins finds Grady. Wow.
Tough shot.
Catch and fire right between the eyes of Jerron Williams. He's got 16 now.
So he's not a Jamal Murray where I think they can run a lot of plays where he takes you off of the bounce, but his jump shot is as pure as I've seen at Kentucky in a long time. Mike, this is where we talk about the ability to stretch the floor. You're going to have to stay as close as possible to Kellen Grady when you play them throughout this entire season. This is not his fluke. This is what he did his entire career at Davidson. And this is why he came to Kentucky, to do this on a national level as well.
And you always wonder how that's going to translate at a higher level in a league like the SEC. But so far, so good. Tries to drive that time. Tshiebwe continues to dominate the paint.
Just demonstrative in everything that he does. We talked about it in the first half. He is playing for something more. He's playing for his family. Nice slip that time by Kunzo.
Washington on the drive and kick to Collins. Into the corner, 3 on the way, knocked down by Davion Mintz. What a luxury to have Mintz coming off the bench this year.
Well, it shows the depth on this Kentucky team with Jacob Toppin out right now. Lance Ware kind of still nursing an ankle injury. They have 12 guys who can really contribute and play on this basketball team.
Inside, Tshiebwe and another block.
Notice how this tempo changes, though, with Xavier Wheeler out of the basketball game. Much more half court, not quite as fast as they usually play.
Washington is going to play a lot of the point and the 2. They really have 3 guards that can play that position of point guard. And a foul that time. That'll go against Collins from behind. How about the performance again? Oscar Tshiebwe, 14 points, 14 rebounds.
Yeah. Oscar Tshiebwe, he's calling you out, Patrick Young. You don't want this, big fella. You don't want this.
Mike Morgan, Damian Fishback back here at Rupp Arena. Kentucky up by 24 points. We don't talk about director of player development often, but this is not your typical director of player development. TJ Beisner, who is a former broadcaster here in the Kentucky area, grew up in Dallas, Texas. He is in charge basically of NIL. He is the czar of Kentucky basketball NIL. Kentucky basketball, 180 NIL deals before the season started. Everything from cars to currency to caviar deals with specific players. You need someone to help navigate this, to make sure you're dealing with the right people. You're working under a fair pretense on those deals. And of course, leading the way on that was Ty Washington with a car deal. And one of the things that Ty did, all these players with their deals are donating 10% to charity. Ty Washington took that new car, crammed some of his teammates in it, went out and started to help out local schools with food and nourishment, and just try to help out the community. So it's not only good for the players and the programs with NIL, but you can even help your community, and that's what Kentucky basketball is trying to do with NIL.
Sure, he talked to him about that name, image, and likeness, and he said that most importantly, you're still going to make the majority of your money on the basketball court, Mike. But what I like is that he was strategic. He said that he tried to be a conduit between the businesses that they operated with and their family members.
Right.
You know, this is all new to these players, to these families. I love the fact that they're allowing these college kids and athletes to participate in capitalism, right? We live in America. And he talked about the difference between football and basketball. Football being 3 years, so them being able to get a little bit more versus basketball being one and done a lot. He was sensational. We were extremely appreciative of his time.
I learned so much with that conversation as Tshiebwe gets another rebound. Mintz cocks and fires and delivers a three from downtown. Just to finish it off, he talked about the fact that there's no such thing as easy money. Lead with the answer no. Make sure you know the details. Don't rush a contract decision. And oh, by the way, he and Coach Cal reminded everybody, with adult benefits come adult problems like taxes. Coach Cal every now and then will come up to a kid and joke with him, hey, have you learned about FICA yet? Set aside that 40%, young man.
Yeah, I thought they were right on it. They talked about making sure that they knew who the accountant was going to be as soon as next week, so they set the money aside, just first class in everything that they're doing, and made sure that they were doing it players first.
Great take to the basket by Bryce Hopkins, who they really have high hopes for. One of the 3 talented freshmen in this class. The surprise of the summer, according to Coach Cal. Almost a turnover. In the lane. That might have been an extra step, but it goes down as a shot and a miss. Wheeler, drive and kick, another three. Another make from Davion Mintz.
I played with a really good point guard in Doc Robinson, and Xavier Wheeler reminds me of every good point guard in the fact that he's looking up the floor. He advances the pass. He gets just as excited to score or to pass as he does to score the basketball himself.
18 rebounds now for Tshiebwe. Wheeler driving. What a dime, but a miss. They're stripped away. Hopkins couldn't hold it, and then in transition, nice play on the other end by Rasheem Dunn.
Equally as good of a pass by Green.
Floater, no. Rebound, fought for.
Tshiebwe. What are you doing?
Collins on a three. That's the shot eventually he'll feel more comfortable taking. You saw the hesitation. 7:46 to go. Kentucky up big, and how about Davion Mintz?
Yeah, from Creighton to Kentucky, coming back for his 6th year, Davion Mintz. He says he's back to win a championship. Keep doing that. You'll have a chance, young fella.
Let's check out the celebration moment brought to you by Allstate. Oscar Tshiebwe, a rebounding machine.
Yeah, well, he reminds me of the likes of a Dennis Rodman on the collegiate level, or Ben Wallace, but he hasn't been the only player. You see the way Kentucky has displayed and really shared the basketball. Brooks involved, Damian Collins involved. Oscar Tshiebwe and his unselfishness has really been something to move throughout the entire team, and you see he has almost equaled the number of rebounds as his opponent, Robert Morris, tonight.
We wanted to show you the 3 plays that Oscar Tshiebwe didn't have an offensive rebound on. Then we paid it off with the actual stat line of Tshiebwe with 19 rebounds. The entire Robert Morris team with 20 tonight. Tshiebwe will get a much-deserved breather. The former West Virginia Mountaineer. 7:46 to go. Kentucky in dominating fashion in the home opener. 92% win percentage at Rupp Arena under Coach Cal. Now in his 13th year, 4 Final Fours and a national championship in 2012.
The strength of this Kentucky team will be the depth this year, and the ability for that depth to improve through competition, through practice. That rebound right there, Damian Collins, his improvement between now and the end of March, so valuable for this team.
Mintz is feeling it right now. He's got the hot hand and then some. 13 points for Davion Mintz. Nice play inside. A bubblegum job on the slam. Arrow will go to Robert Morris. Triple header coming up tomorrow on the SEC Network on the Gridiron. It's number 2 Alabama taking on New Mexico State. South Carolina, Missouri at 4. Arkansas, LSU, SEC Saturday night. All games also available on the ESPN app. One app, one tap. He is Damian Fishback. I am Mike Workin. Great to be with you on this Friday evening. And boy, is it great to have fans back, Fish. I know we mentioned it at the top of the show. Last year, I'm glad we had a season, but it was not nearly what we can expect right now with a crowd like this. Nearly 20,000 fans here tonight. It just makes such a difference. In the sport of basketball, I think more than any other sport, the crowd makes a difference, and we've been treated to a great one tonight.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why last year was one of the rare years where you saw Kentucky not make it to the NCAA tournament, Duke not makes it to the NCAA tournament. You saw so many of the Blue Bloods struggle. I look for all of those teams to bounce back this year, whether it's Kansas, Michigan State, Kentucky. You think about teams in this league where the fans are so important. Auburn, Arkansas, Tennessee. It's going to make a difference.
There's no doubt, and you and I have watched the evolution of the home court advantage in this league. Beautiful alley-oop pass. That's tie to Collins, freshman to freshman on the jam. Williams. Right now, Robert Morris just trying to shake off this second half because it has been all Kentucky so far.
Not sure if I've ever seen both players go take a charge, but you love to see. They were working on that in practice, but I don't know if they were working on this. Look at Damian Collins. You think about that vertical leap that you talked about. Coach Cal said when you think about Damian Collins, the word that comes to mind is bouncy.
Yep.
He's going to make a difference on this basketball team.
A 7'4" wingspan to go with that 40+ inch vertical leap. Washington kind of muscled on his way to the hoop, and that one knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, that's where he's learning on the job as well. You know, not all freshmen are created equal. as we talked about, all recruiting classes aren't created equal, and that's where he's got to learn to not get too deep, to pull up for the jump shot or try to use the floater or find a teammate.
Speaking of recruiting classes, Kentucky already on their way to another #1 ranked recruiting class. Oh, Paul Biancardi says they've got the #1 recruit already signed, sealed, and ready to be delivered.
Yeah, outstanding recruiting class coming, and I think all 4 guys are within the top 16. A long time since that happened, but just incredible. And I think these fans, yeah, that's right, these fans are in for a treat next year.
Yeah, Sharp is a special shooting guard, the #1 overall recruit in America. Now, you know, we learned some things in the game against Duke. I think we're going to continue to learn things in November and December about how this group is going to function together. Last year, they just never seemed to gel. It never came together. It was the most frustrating year for Coach Cal in the history of his coaching career. This year, you just can tell when you sit and talk to him or even watch him in practice, he's grinning ear to ear about the possibilities of what this team can do.
Yeah, he said it yesterday. He said, I like this team. He said, I can smell it. You know, I think he took a lot of positives from that Duke game in spite of the loss. You see Keon Brooks fighting through. Keon Brooks is wiry strong. You know, he's not that big, but he's stronger than he looks. You see this play here? Not trying to do too much, just using his strength and speed and fighting through. I think that's where he can be so damaging around 6 to 8 feet.
Coach Cal wants him to take a step forward this year offensively, now in his 3rd year. There's a high kick off the rim for the free throw. Yeah, again, no Toppin tonight. No Frederick. We saw Lance Ware sparingly. But this is a team that really has some good depth to it as well. That's going to be a goaltend, so count the basket.
Basket allowed to Spear.
Nine upperclassmen on this roster. That's the most in the Calipari era at Kentucky. So it's not your typical plethora of young guys just trying to cut their teeth on the college game. You've got some veterans to help lead the way. Mintz fouled on the giddy up. Big basketball doubleheader next Friday. It all starts at 7 o'clock Eastern time. The same Kentucky squad will play host to Ohio U at Rupp Arena. And then it's Georgia Tech at Stedman Coliseum. Of course, that is where Xavier Wheeler called home before transferring to Kentucky. Xavier putting together another fine performance tonight. 7 assists, 0 turnovers. That is a key number. They're talking about the ratio they want out of Xavier. Oh my goodness. Collins, another high-flying slam as he continues to add to the highlight reel tonight. They want Xavier Wheeler's ratio to be 4-to-1, assist to turnover. You think he can do that?
I do think he can do that. You know, he's got some work to do coming off of the 7 turnovers versus Duke, but he's so savvy, such a basketball on the floor. And this is what we're used to seeing from the Kentucky Wildcats, whether that's Anthony Davis or Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns. That's what Kentucky does. They screen, roll, and they throw lobs, and they continue to recruit guys that go get it. And, you know, the fact that C.J. Frederick's not in the game, that Jacob Toppin wasn't able to play, Lance Ware nursing that ankle, was an opportunity that Damian Collins took advantage of.
Collins goes to the bench with 8 points, 6 rebounds for Kentucky tonight. Allen, the young man out of Pendleton County. I did that game in Starkville where he put on a clinic off the bench and became a household name. It was kind of a Rudy moment. And Coach Cal says he can do more for us. He can be more consistent. They might have to change up the way they defend a little bit when he's on the floor, but you can't replace the shooting. He is a terrific outside shooter when given open looks. Nice block that time by Tai. Inside, and a strong take with the left by Matt Myers.
Well, Robert Morris just ran into a buzzsaw tonight. You think about the Kentucky Wildcats coming off of that loss, and you talked about the stretch that they have. And that's what we mean right there when we say these guys are still getting to know one another. But the product itself, Mike Morgan, I think it's something that Big Blue Nation can appreciate. Give it up, the oldest screen and roll. Whew. It's easy to do, especially when you got a guy like Collins who can go up there and get it.
Five players in double figures tonight for Kentucky. Leading the way, Kellen Grady with 19 points. Tshiebwe, another double-double, 14 points to go along with 19 rebounds. Mintz, Brooks, and the talented freshman Tai Washington all in double figures tonight. 9 players getting in the scoring column tonight for Kentucky. All around, Fish, just a top-to-bottom great effort by Big Blue.
Yeah, when we spoke with Eric Lindsay about the depth on this basketball team, and he said when Kyle talks about 7 to 8 guys in the rotation, he's using that as motivation for guys. He knows that they have 11, 12 capable players on this team that can come contribute, but he wants them competing for those minutes in practice and on the floor. And I think we've seen the type of competition that the Kentucky Wildcats are going to have all year long a little bit tonight.
Wheeler back on the floor for Kentucky as we near 3 minutes remaining in this contest. Inside, Tshiebwe, another block.
What do you think? A little Ben Wallace to him, Mike? A little Ben Wallace, little Dennis Rodman?
I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that. Yeah, they list him at 6'9", but he plays bigger than 6'9". And he really plays like a 7-footer in a lot of ways. Tshiebwe,
You got to work on that. You got to work on that. That's okay. You can't do everything perfect every time. He's a rebound. Look at that smile on his face.
The question is Cal smiling at that shot? That's the question.
We saw him in practice. He definitely has a much better touch than that.
By the way, if Tshiebwe can get one more rebound, that'd be 20. He'd be the first player. Oh, they have given it to him. All right. So Tshiebwe now with 20 rebounds is the first player for Kentucky since Mike Phillips to have at least 2 games with 20 rebounds in the same season. Phillips had 3 games with 20 or more rebounds back in 1975-76. So he's already made history, and he's only played 2 games in a Kentucky uniform. Steal by Wheeler. Wheeler off and running.
Nice look.
Finds a trailer. Top floor. Damian Collins with a thunderous slam. Wow. I mean, that's all I can say, Fish. Wow. Somebody got posterized. I'm not going to say who, but that is a SportsCenter top 10 nominee. Get the feeling it won't be the last one for Damian Collins.
Yeah, college basketball is back, and it is official with that young fella, Damian Collins. My goodness, there's some action in Rupp Arena. It's almost like Spear jumped in about halfway through the air. He said, I can't get up there.
Now Kentucky in search of a century in terms of points at 96 after a Dante Allen 3. (96-56). Big Blue up by 40. Here's Washington finding Wheeler. Wheeler shake and bake, little drop, and a finish.
He's a difference maker. I wondered as I watched Kentucky who was the alpha male on this basketball team. And Xavier, the little engine that could and will this year, Wheeler, I think is the guy that's going to lead this basketball team. The point guard position is his.
Up top, straightaway three. Can't get it to go. Rebound into the hands of Kentucky's Bryce Hopkins. Oh! Slam for Collins.
Great to be back, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Giving the fans what they want to see and give Kentucky a cool 100.
Well, we didn't get to see a lot of it against Theo John and Paolo Banchero and Williams over at Duke. But tonight, we got to see a taste, just a little appetizer of the bright future that Damian Collins has.
14.6 rebounds for that young man. And a real good head start to his freshman highlight reel. Giving the rim a workout this entire second half. Final seconds, and perhaps the final foul of this one with 29 seconds remaining. Xavier Wheeler, by the way, double digits in assists for the second game. So you got Tshiebwe with back-to-back 20 rebound games. Wheeler with back-to-back 10+ assist games. That's getting started off on the right foot.
Well, you know that they're a key call, right?
Kentucky had a lot to work on after the Duke game. Perhaps they'll have a little bit to celebrate after this game before they get ready for some key ones coming up here soon. Allen. And out of bounds to Robert Morris for the final 14 seconds. There you take a look. Mount St. Mary's, that'll be on Tuesday. Then Ohio a week from tonight. Albany, North Florida, Central Michigan. A chance to fine-tune this lineup with 3 freshmen, 4 key transfers. Perhaps the final shot of the game coming up right here. And it'll be a lay-in by Matt Mayers, and that will put an end to this one. Kentucky puts on a clinic in the second half and defeats Robert Morris by a final score of 100-60. Tshiebwe leading away, 19 points, make it 14 points, 20 rebounds. Grady leading the way in the scoring column with 19, and another double-digit assist game for Xavier Wheeler, the former Georgia Bulldog. 5 points, 11 assists, and not a single turnover. Damian Fishback trying to see if he can chat with our player of the game, Oscar Tshiebwe, before we bid farewell here from Rupp Arena. Great crowd on the home opener for the Wildcats.
All fans in sections 17, 34.
Tshiebwe makes his way over. Oscar Tshiebwe was terrific from the very early beginning. Block shots, offensive rebounds. Here's another block here. How about a third? And doing what he does best, rebounding. He said he's rebounding for his family. He wants to set up a better life for his family. Every time he goes up to the glass, he's got that in his head, and he is as ferocious as they come on the offensive and defensive glass. 20 more rebounds tonight, back-to-back 20 rebound games for the former West Virginia Mountaineer, Oscar Tshiebwe. Kentucky with 54 points in the second half and route to a 100-60 victory. And Damian Fishback is standing by with the player of the game.
Did you know you just set a Rupp Arena record with the 20 rebounds tonight, big fella?
I didn't know that. Like, for real? That's crazy.
You talked to me earlier today. You said that your motivation was your family. What do you think your family's thoughts would be about the way that you all played tonight?
I think they're really happy because I'm not a selfish person. I work for a lot of people. I work for all these people came here. Like, that's why I'm here, to dominate it, to make a dream come true, to make everybody happy.
You know, you talk about dominating. When you were growing up, what were some players that you tried to imitate your game after?
I watched Kobe, LeBron when I was a kid. Those the people, like, they really motivated me, how they work, how they came out every night. You gotta improve, you gotta do good. Those the people, like, I watch them most of the time, like LeBron, like right now he's like 36, but every time in the career he never give up, he just go harder.
Well, last but not least, you all got a victory tonight, but what do you think the Kentucky Wildcats need to improve on to continue to get better?
I think we're getting better so far. Like we gotta keep working on our defense and switching. Like we gotta keep getting better in those things.
Best of luck the rest of the season, big fella.
Thank you.
Damian, great stuff. Is there a more likable young man in college basketball than Oscar Tshiebwe? He's not just a terrific talent, but a young man who is humble, hardworking, loves and respects his peers. What a great teammate. What a great representative for college basketball. What a great night here at Rupp Arena. 100-60 the final score. The Wildcats get in the win column in front of a great crowd at Rupp Arena. That does it for us. Up next is SEC Now for Damian Fishback. This is Mike Morgan saying good night from Lexington as we send you back to studio and the one and only Dari Nowkhah.